Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Tarot is Ridiculous. I am your host, Leeza Robertson, and you might know me from one of my decks, either the Animal Totem Tarot, Cirque Du Tarot, the Mermaid Tarot, Soul Cats Tarot, or the upcoming Unicorn and Angel Tarot, if you've been watching those in my stories. Okay, I am pretty excited about today's guest, mainly because I have been trying to get her on for a while. We had our wires crossed, everyone's schedules went bonkers, but here we are. So, Ailynn, I am so happy to have you on the show today. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Leeza. I am very excited to be here and connect with you again. It's been a while since we connected, so very excited to be here and talk to all your people out there.
All my people want to learn tarot in the most ridiculous way possible. So I've got to ask, what is your tarot origin story?
Well, it's a good one. When I was about 10 years old, I have a sister that's 13 years older. When I was about 10, she went to a garage sale down the street, and this lady had just bought the house, and she had found a tarot deck and a book in her house, and she thought they were evil, and she wanted them out. So my sister's like, oh, I'll buy them. And so she came home and started learning them, and then she started teaching me at 10. But of course, at 10, you don't have life experience. You know, it's a lot of it doesn't make sense. But I worked with them throughout my life, just, kind of pulling cards and reading the book. And then when I got in my 40s, I was like, I'm going to learn these cards. I don't want to use the book anymore because how tarot comes in and out of your life is when I was in college and stuff, you kind of put them aside and then bring them back out. So in my 40s, I am like, nope, I am learning the tarot. I'm going to understand these cards without a book in some way. So I tried to memorize them. No, it did not work for me. I'm like going through the cards and I'm like, I just can't remember these cards. So one day I picked up a book, and I'd been studying the elements through some other studies that I was doing. I was really into studying the elements, and I picked up a book, and the book said, swords relates to the sign of the element of air. And I went, what? Why hasn't anybody told me this? And as soon as I got that and the numerology down, it all clicked for me and went from there. Yeah. And it was really exciting. Once I discovered that, I was like, oh my goodness, I wish I would have done this before. It would have helped tremendously. But yeah, I think it was good timing. It all came together.
That is the perfect story. And that is the perfect story for my audience, because I feel like so many people struggle with tarot because they are really stuck on learning the meanings rather than building a relationship with the cards. Because as those of us who have been in tarot for a while know, there is no actual real one meaning for a card. So trying to learn a meaning is a little redundant, because as you build your relationship, all things will change.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, it was just, knowing the elemental energy of the card and then the number and putting that together, and then looking at the picture and saying, what do I see in the picture? What's coming out for me? And it just all flew in together. And yeah, it was a great discovery.
But it really is. Like, I think like sometimes we don't talk enough about how we made our way into this journey. We get caught up in telling of the cards or talking about the cards. Like a lot of tarot people just talk about the cards. Oh, this is the thing. Hi. And we are going to talk about the cards in a little while. But I feel like the more stories we have in the world of how we came into tarot, how tarot helped and supported us, the more doors open for other people that are out there. And I also kind of like am really chuffed that you said that the reason your sister bought these is because someone told them they were evil. Like, evil. That is great.
I know. So she's like, they're evil, I'm buying them. It was just like yeah. So it was a good journey. It's been a good journey for me in discovering the tarot. And I'm really into numerology. So I base my whole life off of my tarot numerology. That's where I put my focus. Yeah.
Well, that's a good segue. So, because you wrote a book about this. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your book?
Yeah, my book's called The Tarot Apothecary. Here's a copy of it. And it's Tarot Apothecary, Shifting Personal Energies Using Tarot, Aromatherapy, and Simple Everyday Rituals. And what I like to do, I don't always wait to pull a card from a deck. I will just say, oh, you know what? Let's say I'm going for a job interview and, you know, I lack that fire energy within me, the confidence, courage, charisma, energy, you know? So I'm like, okay, I really need to show leadership in this interview. So I'm going to call in the Emperor to be my guide today. And I'm going to wear red for fire. And I'm going to put on some fiery oils. And I'm going to write a mantra that gives me confidence and courage. And the Emperor is my guide today. Or I'll call in a queen. And so the book's about calling in the energies of the cards and finding ways to everyday simple rituals to remind yourself about those energies during the day, like drinking tea in a certain manner, or getting a bottle of water and writing across it what you want to drink into your life and pulling that water energy in if you're working with a water card. So it's about really just working with the cards. And like I said, I base my life off of my tarot numerology. What year I'm in the tarot is huge for me. So I just moved into the Wheel of Fortune in March. So I consider myself in summer. It's a summer year for me. It's fire. There's action happening. And it's the Wheel of Fortune. So how do I want to manifest that? I'll call in the magician to be my guide for the year, to help me manifest the changes I want to see. So yeah, that's kind of how it works for me. I'm really about manifesting and calling in and working with it.
That is fantastic, because I use numerology a lot with tarot as well. And I do the birth year readings too, because I find them so incredibly useful, like just so incredibly useful. And they're really good for my clients as well, to kind of see where they are in relation to the number, the card, and the astrology. So I love that. And I think that's a good introduction for our card this week, which is the Lover's card, because that is card number 6. And if you're born on the 6th month, or you're having a 6th year, this card's going to be vitally important to you. So tell us a little bit about the Lovers, or how you manage the Lovers from your perspective.
Yeah, I think of the Lovers. Of course, the Lovers works with relationships, and that could be any kind of relationship. It could be a love relationship. It could be a friendship. It could be community coming into your life. And I think of the Lovers as, I guess, the old title, The Two Paths. It's a year of making decisions, and those decisions will affect your relationships in some form or manner. Whether it be you decide to get married, whether you decide to get divorced, maybe you decide to choose a new job and you lose those relationships from the coworkers, but bring in new relationships. So I think of it as the two choices. A choice. You're at a crossroads, and there's a decision to be made, and relationships will come into play. Yeah.
I do like that, because I do think that, like, people get a little too hung up on the Lovers is love card, as opposed to the Lovers card is our first introduction to human relationships along the Fool's journey. It's the first time we enter the world and we start learning about relationships that are not from our family. So it is one of these cards where it's meant to be an introduction. It's not the be all and end all. This is not the marriage card. This is we're going to dip our toe into the dating pool and see what happens. Or we're going to dip our toe into maybe networking in some different circles and see what happens. Or we're going to dip our toe into maybe some different social circles and see what happens. Like, it really is the beginning card of relationships.
Yeah. Can I just read one little section out of my book for you? That's my message from the Lovers. This is a message from the Lovers. You will hold many hands in this lifetime. If you could imagine all the people you have met in your life and imagine that you are holding their hand, you would see an infinite line of soul personalities. You have been in a relationship of some sort with all of these individuals at one time. As you move through life, you will let go of many hands and you will open your hand to accept new ones. The Lover's card represents a shifting of relationship or multiple relationships. There are decisions to be made. You are at a crossroads, and I offer you the power of choice. So that's why it relates to relationships, but it's really your choices you're making that affect your relationships. Yeah.
Now, I got into trouble with this card when I made the Mermaid Tarot. So if you have my Mermaid Tarot, in fact, I'll see if I can find it because that's not actually the one I pulled out. I didn't put 2 people on this card. I only put 1. So if you have my Mermaid Tarot, you know exactly what I did with this card. But if you do not have my Mermaid Tarot, I'm going to find it for you now and show you what I did. And here's what happened. I got people who loved this interpretation of the Lover's card. And then I got people who wanted to just drag my ass through the mud for this
oh my gosh.
So, like, this is the Lover's card from the Mermaid Tarot. And I chose this because, to me, the longest, deepest, and most complex relationship we have inside the Fool's journey is the one that we have with ourselves.
Yes.
Right? We're constantly learning how to have a relationship with us. And in fact, the relationship we have with us is the basis to which all other relationships kind of seed out and we engage. And so that I think is probably one of the most controversial cards I have ever created in a deck. And
I like it. I like it.
Honestly, totally. The Mermaid Tarot was my second tarot, and I did not realize one could receive so much hate over designing a card. But it's okay. I'm incredibly thick-skinned, so it didn't bother me at all. But it is an interesting card. So it is a card that can cause controversy.
But I like it because, like I said, I think of it could be any type of relationship. You know, and a relationship with yourself, like you said, is the most important relationship. So yeah, I like it.
So what oils or what aromatherapy did you have for this card?
For the Lovers, I chose, in the book, I chose lavender. And I did that for many reasons. Lavender is an attractant. It attracts people. It's also an air element oil. So I related the cards to their elemental energy. And lavender, kind of funny, it was worn by French prostitutes way back in the day, so that if you smelled the lavender, you knew they were a prostitute. But it was also put on as a protectant and an attractant. So it had all these qualities that could help you with relationships as far as attracting, protecting yourself. You know, it protected way back when the Black Plague came. There was a town in England, I'm trying to remember the name of the town. I've forgotten it now. But anyway, there was a town in England that was surrounded by lavender. And that town did not get the Black Plague because it was protecting it. It protects. So it's very much about protecting your personal energy, but also attracting at the same time. So I felt like it was, and plus, like I said, it's air element energy. So lavender was my choice. But since it's an air element energy, you could also work with any air element like rosemary, eucalyptus. I think of air element oils. Think of ones that can clear your sinuses, like peppermint, eucalyptus, rosemary, clearing the sinuses, clearing the mind. But lavender is a sweeter flower. So I chose lavender to work with for the Lovers.
That is a fascinating choice. When I was learning about essential oils like a long, long time ago now, I remember volunteering to be a bit of a test dummy at this aromatherapy thing that I was at. And I remember them saying that lavender, and I use it to this day for this particular thing, only. That lavender is for burns. So if you
Yes.
burn yourself, the very first thing you should do is put lavender oil on it, and then there's no problems. And there isn't, like, there's nothing. There's no blisters, there's no bubbles, there's no scars, there's no sores, there's no nothing. It completely takes it off. But if I think about that in relationship to relationships, it's also like it stops you from getting burned. Like it stops the scars from when things go wrong, right? So
Yes.
I guess that's part of that protective element that you're talking about, that it makes sure that the relationships that you have or the relationships you are in might sting in the moment, but it's not going to be a long-term wound.
And it puts like the protective energy around you, just protecting you. I mean, and that could be physically, mentally, and you think of it's antibacterial, antifungal, all those things. So it also protects you against disease and things like that. So yeah, and burns too. I learned that in aromatherapy school. Yep. Yeah. Guy burned his hand. He was in a lab. He had a big thing of lavender oil. Automatic reaction, put it in something, and he put it in lavender, and he was shocked by how well it healed. And
yeah, that's why one of the reasons we keep lavender oil in the kitchen. Like, a lot of people ask me about that. I'm like, oh no, you just don't understand.
Yes.
So, but I think like here's where this could come in real fun, and I think I'll actually provide a spell for this in the Tarot is Ridiculous newsletter for the Substack subscribers. But I feel like we could use the Lover's card and use lavender essential oil if you wanted to attract relationships that didn't have any toxicity to them. Right? So to repel toxic people from your life, I think that would be a really cool combination.
That would be really cool. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
So if you are one of my subscribers, look out for that, because I think I am going to put that in the newsletter when I write that up for this episode. Okay, so we're at time now. So I want to ask you, what do you have going on at the moment, and how can people find you?
Right now, I don't have anything particular going on, but I'm planning on designing a 101 tarot class. I love teaching beginning tarot. It's my favorite thing to do. And I haven't taught since before COVID, so it's been a little while. So I'm feeling the urge calling me back. So 101 tarot class that also incorporates the information from my book, where we'll be working with meditation, rituals, aromatherapy, but also learning the elements, numerology. So that's coming up in the future. People can find me on my website, which is byailynn.com. So BYAILYNN.com. Also on Facebook, they can find me under Potions by Ailynn. And also I have an author page, Ailynn Halvorson author, that they can find me on. And Instagram, BY_ and then AILYNN.
Excellent. So many ways to find you. Yeah, I think like an aromatherapy, your year in aromatherapy and tarot cards would be a fantastic class.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you so much for being on the show this week.
Thanks for having me, Leeza. It's so good to see you again. And I'm saying hi to everybody out there. And yeah, get into your tarot cards and learn the elements and numerology and just really work with them. I'm also getting ready to start my own, I'm doing a personal journal coming up soon. Starting journaling again with the cards. So.
Oh, fun. Yeah. Fantastic. All right, everyone, that's our episode for this week. I hope you learned something valuable this week. I know I did. So if you are not subscribed to the Substack, there will be a link below this, so you can go ahead and do that. If not, I will see you next week for my next guest and for our next card.